schus to have such a crowd together in the Beis Medrash together. It's a tremendous schus. We should appreciate it. We're together, Talmidim of the Cheder, and we're celebrating Torah. We're celebrating a day of hours and hours spent, tremendous amount of Mishnayos, Prakim, Mesechtas that were learned together. In this room, all together. That's extra besides our everyday learning. The extra learning. It's a day we're celebrating a Simchas HaTorah. And we're going on a trip. We're leaving the Kaisley Beis Medrash to create a Kiddush Hashem, of course, but to celebrate in a way, a Torah-dik way, and it's very appropriate that we have a Talmid Chacham, Adam Gadol, to come and speak to us, to send us off with the appropriate message. Especially when we leave the Kaisley Beis Medrash, that's when we have to be even more aware of who we are and where we are going and what crowns we carry with us. It's a gewaldige schus for us that we have a Shragi Neuberger who was willing to come and speak to us and send us off with gewaldige divrei chizuk. Please listen very carefully.
Everybody knows what the Gemara says that a person should learn Torah. A person should learn Torah shaloi lishma, not because it's Ratzon Hashem, because he's going to get schar, he's going to get covered. A person should learn shaloi lishma. Why? Shemitei shaloi lishma, kol lishma. If you learn something shaloi lishma, you can end up coming to lishma. Every single word in the Chazal means something. So Chaim Volozhiner was bothered with a question. Why does it say La'olam yomad adam Torah afilu shaloi lishma? La'olam yomad adam Torah v'yad mitzvahs afilu shaloi lishma shemitei shaloi lishma b'al lishma. Why does it have to say La'olam? You could just say yomad adam Torah shaloi lishma. Yas adam mitzvah shaloi lishma shemitei shaloi lishma b'al lishma. Chaim Volozhiner tells us that the level of lishma is a very high level. As a person to learn Torah, lishma, I'm going to sit down and learn Torah, lishma, l'shem Torah. It's a very hard thing to do. La'olam, the only way you can get to learn Torah lishma is by starting with shaloi lishma. Shaloi lishma is not a b'diavad. We're human, and we need the shaloi lishma. Of course, our goal has to be eventually to learn Torah lishma. Any time that you sat down to learn Mishnayos thinking that you're going to have a great trip, Mitzvah Hashem, and that pushed you to learn, that's a good shaloi lishma. It's necessary. Don't feel bad. La'olam yomad adam Torah shaloi lishma. But to know, the goal is to get one day to where we're going to do the same thing and put in the extra time even without the trip. But now enjoy it. You deserve it, and you should have a yishmak time. Over 40 years ago, I had the schus to take my Rosh Yeshiva Rudim Zichron Bracha to a chasana. We were staying overnight in a hotel. It was a hotel in Manhattan. And in hotels, not the motels, but in the hotels, the way they do it is when you bring your bags, That's how they used to do it. Then at least, they have a person that takes your bags from the front desk to your room. So, the man came, took the bags, we got to the room. This must have been 1970, maybe a little earlier, and Rashida pulls out of his pocket $2. $2 in 1970 would be today probably giving $5 or $6 at least, maybe more. And I looked to the Rashiva and I said, $2? Rashiva said, I'll tell you. So he once went together with a Rav, an Einakov and a Tziv. He was the Rav of Chemdas, Rav. He's named after his grandfather. And they went together in the early 1950s for a haircut. And after the haircut, he gave the barber a tip of $1. $1 in 1950 was a tremendous amount of money. So he looked at him, he said, $1? So much money? He said, look, we look different. They know that we're different. They know we're rabbis. So 50 cents is what anybody would give. If you look like a Rav, look like a Yid, you gotta give double. So ever since then, she was machbid. So whenever he gave a tip, whether it was for a shoe shine or for simple people, he always gave extra money so that people should be impressed and saying, this man looks different. We didn't know who he was, we knew he looked different. To make an impression, you're going on a trip, and you've heard this 100 times, but keep in mind the following story, and it'll help you do the extra little thank yous and the pleases and the niceness that you can do that can give you and accomplish a lot. The Gaon, one of the Gaon's Rebbetzin and a friend used to go together to collect money from women in Vilna for poor families. They went from house to house to different ladies. They got small little things. Sometimes you get a little bit of money, sometimes they'd get a cup of sugar, just to help poor people. And they did it together for years. One day they decided, they made a deal, that whoever reaches 120 years first will come back in a chalaim, and it's recorded in the Pinkas of Vilna, this story, and they'll come back in a chalaim and tell them whatever they can about what goes on in Shamayim. And the friend of the Gaon's wife, that lady, she was Nifteris first. And sure enough, a while later, she came back to the Gaon's Rebbetzin in a dream. And she told her that every time we go and collect money or food for poor people, it's all recorded. There was one time we went together to a wealthy lady's house, and she wasn't home, and we left and crossed the street. And you, she told the Gaon's Rebbetzin in the dream, were looking around to see maybe she came back, and sure enough, she spotted her, and she called her with her hand, she motioned to her, hello. They knew what she was coming. They went back and they got them the matana. So she said, everything in Shemayim is recorded. And even though we were always equal in the tzedakahs we did, in Shemayim they took note that you were looking out to do that extra. Maybe you'll find the lady and maybe you'll get the tzedakah. Gadol ha'ma'asi yesim and ha'esim. So every little ta'ula counts. And the thank you to the bus driver, to the police, when you're at the places that you're going, not just on this trip, but in general, to remember you look different, you are different. In Katan Ata B'Yeinecha, the Navi says, you can look at yourself as a regular person. Reish, the Shiftei Yisrael Ata. B'nei Torah, you're budding young Bachim that become Talmidei Chacham, you look different, you act different. And if you have that consciousness and that feeling, to realize that every little small extra mental chapula you do in Shemayim makes a big Reishim, and it'll make even the time that you're away from the Kaislei HaCheder, it'll make even that time, besides having a Geshmaka deserved trip, you can make Kiddush Hashem, and you can learn from such an experience how over a lifetime you can gain so much schar and so much Kiddush Hashem from being conscious and remember always that you are B'nai Torah. Have a Geshmaka trip.